Hey, in another spooky edition, I'm going to show you how I painted this little pumpkin. So I got a set of woodcut pumpkins from Hobby Lobby for less than $2. And so I take one and I'm going to put a layer of varnish first. It just makes the painting process a lot smoother for me when I use a varnish layer on any woodcut before I paint it. I chose this purple yellow color shift color for the base of my pumpkin because I plan to do a spiderweb design on it, and I just thought that this gave it the perfect spooky vibe that I'm going for. So I smooth that paint over with a flat brush, and you can see how I smooth out the streaks. And this is my first layer, and then I'm going to do a second layer as well where I do the same thing. You don't always have to, I just wanted to for this one. Next, I'm going to do my outlines of the pumpkin ridges. And I chose this blue violet color, it's a sparkly color. So I take this pink dotting tool, and I'm using the smaller side to just pick up some of this paint color and spread it out. And you can see I'm doing a wide arc as it is an outer edge of the pumpkin, one of the ridges. And you can see where I start that ridge at the bottom of the woodcut of this pumpkin. There's a little ridge, so I just use that as a guide mark for where to start this ridge. And then I just connect it to the stem area up above. So just taking a little bit of paint at a time and spreading it in the arc motion to create the ridge. To create that 3D model effect of the pumpkin, I made the outer ridges a little bit more curved than the inner ridges. That just helps with the design. So my next step is to create a spiderweb effect, and I chose this white purple iridescent paint color to make that spiderweb effect. So I am going to go down each one of these pumpkin ridges and make a spider web. And the first one is going to be a straight line down. And just like before, we just grabbed some paint and spread it. And so I did the central line first, and I kept adding ridges of the spider web. And with a spider web, it's going to be curved. So this spiderweb design is imagining the stem area as the center of the spiderweb. So normally with spiderwebs, the little ridges between the major lines are more curved towards the inner area where the spiderweb is centralized. So that was why I chose to do little curved spiderweb marks. And with the ridges that are on the curved ends, to create that 3D model, I connect the inner lines to the new lines I'm creating. So now that I finished the 3 innermost ridges, spider webs, I'm going to continue to do it on the outer layers here. And you can see that I make a bigger curve. And I messed up here, so I just took a cotton swab and rubbed the paint off because it was fresh. And I create a larger arch for the spider web, and it's going to be the central line for this ridge, and the one on the other side are going to be closer to the edge to continue with the 3D mark, as though a spider web is running down each of the ridges and the central point is on the stem. So with the ridge in the middle, we drew a straight line because it's the one that's facing the person who's looking at it. And the edges look a little different. So they're going to be on the sides of the pumpkin. And that's why we stretch the spider web, which goes down the middle of the ridge, more towards the outside, because we're not going to be able to see all of the edge of the pumpkin on this side. And this also helps with the 3D effect of the spider web running down as well. So now that it's all wrapped up, I'm going to make a spider. So I take one of my larger dotting tools to create the main base of the spider body, and I'm going to add another smaller dot for the head of the spider. And holding them together, you can kind of see what that spider is going to look like. And I grab a black sparkly paint, put a dot there, and it's kind of funny, I dropped my paint in the same formation that the spider is going to be in. So I dipped my dotting tool into the paint. You can see what it looks like. And I choose a good little location for the spider. All right, and you can see that there's a little bit of excess in the middle. I'm going to spread that out in just a moment. But first, I'm going to use the smaller dotting tool to add the head of the spider. So I take the circular dotting side of the orange dotting tool, and I spread that thick paint out in a circular motion. And this just helps spread the paint out so it's not so thick in the middle, because that would look thick when it dries. And now I'm going to take the opposite side of the orange dotting tool that's more pointy, and I'm going to make the legs of the spider. So first I take a little bit of paint. Don't want to make too thick of a leg for the start. We're just making an outline. And it's going to have a slight bend in the middle of each leg that I draw. And I'm just making the front legs bend forward towards the head of the spider. And something I wanted to do, which I do here, is I'm trying to connect all the legs to a part of the spider webs. So the two middle legs on each side of the spider, I'm going to make them at the same angle, kind of going more outwards and towards the back of the spider body. And I just take my tool and make an angle for each of the legs. And for the back legs, I just made an angle towards the back. And for any of the lines that I just wanted to make sure the paint was a little bit thicker, I just take the tool and go over it again, and here's a spider. And I want to add a baby spider as well, so I chose a new location for that spider, and it's going to look very similar to the one before, just a little bit smaller. And you can see I'm doing the same thing, taking paint from the middle and spreading it out, and making the same angles for the legs. So now it's time to finish up and color in the stem. So I chose a purple pearlescent color. I wasn't sure what color I wanted to go with, but I decided to stay with the purple theme, and that's why I also decided to do it last. And I just take that paint with a small flat brush and spread it out. I add 2 layers, and I make sure to touch up the sides. And there we have it. So I'm gonna add a layer of varnish. And before I added the layer of varnish, I also touched up the edges around the entire pumpkin. And I just take a large flat brush and spread out the varnish. And there is some excess that I put, so I was just taking my brush and dropping it into a paint canister. And I wipe off the edges to make sure there's no built up varnish on the edges. Let it dry, and I'm gonna make it into a magnet, so I just take some super glue, put a magnet on, push it down, and I let it dry. And there we have it. So the magnet's pretty sturdy now that I let it dry, and it's pretty beautiful, and it's very shiny, and it's ready for the fridge. So thanks for watching.